Hi, Jeannie Robertson. Dennis Greene here from Kansas City. It was great to see you at the NSA conference a couple weeks ago. My friend Cam Awesome warned me. He said, if this is going to be your first visit to the conference of professional speakers, be prepared to listen. So I'm working on my Christmas letter like I do every year at this time, and I'll give you an update. My daughter, the entrepreneur, started a summer camp this year. Instead of going to camp, she started a camp for first graders. 2 weeks in our backyard, totally destroyed the house and the yard. But she made a couple $1,000s. So at the end of it, I asked her what she learned out of it. She said, well, I did accounting and marketing and a website and a brochure and recruiting and hired people and did a calendar and a contingency plan. I said, that's so impressive. What do you feel like the life lesson is you got out of it? She thought for a moment and said, well, the life lesson, I suppose, is never have children. She's in high school. She's coming up on dating age. So she's getting ready to go to homecoming. So she talked to a friend of mine's son. We're just friends. There's no romance between the two of them, so it's safe. So they talked about going together. I overheard the conversation. At the conclusion, he said, well, give me a call later. We can work out all the details. So she just kind of shook her head and said, no, it would be proper if you called me later. He said, what? Then she quoted my favorite country western song. She said, if your phone don't ring tonight, that will be me not calling you. She got me a role in the Easter play. She was in it. She came home one night and said, hey, Dad, they're looking for somebody who could play the part of Pontius Pilate. The director said, we need kind of an old guy who could be kind of a crusty bureaucrat who could easily condemn an innocent man to death. So I shot my arm up. I said, I've got your man. Well, I did get the job. And when it was over, she and her friends all said, you were great. It didn't even seem like you were acting. It's not really a compliment. Well, that also led to another acting role. I was in the opera Carmen. That was really fun. I played the part of a matador. And I told my wife before she came, I said, there's a part of this that's a little awkward, so don't get upset. There's a part where a young woman runs out from the crowd and smothers the matadors with kisses, so don't get upset. And after it was over, I was a little concerned, so I said, are you cool with that? Yeah, sorry about that. She said, honey, don't worry about it. It's just proof that that young lady is a really good actor. Now, my son's doing well. This spring, he had to take the Iowa test of basic skills. He asked me, he said, Dad, what can I do to prepare? I said, not much really, just a good night's sleep and eat well. It's kind of like an IQ test, just show up. He said, well, how do you know? I said, well, I took it when I was a kid. Long silence. He said, well, what did they call it back then? The Louisiana Purchase Test of Basic Skills? Did they cover hunting or just gathering? Now, he's a typical boy, and therefore we expect him to get in a little bit of trouble, some shenanigans. He saved up some money so he and his buddy could buy the largest container available of Vaseline. They went to school early with rubber gloves and put Vaseline on all the doorknobs through the entire school for April Fool's Day. Well, of course, he got busted. Principal called me later and asked, after John got in trouble, might his reaction have been to go to a convenience store perhaps and get a subscription card to a Playboy magazine, fill it in with the school's address on it? Might he have written my name down as the subscriber? I said, well, maybe. Would he have run an ad in Craigslist that said, free baby monkeys, and put my phone number? And then state, only call after midnight. And hang up if my dad answers. Maybe. Now, not everything's a bed of roses with John. We went on the vacation of a lifetime to Hawaii. Get bad dreams out of it. We took the road to Hana, past Anapali, through Lanai, up to the Mount Kahialala. The next day, John said, I had a nightmare last night that we lived in Hawaii. And in school, I had to be in a spelling contest. Now, my work is going well. Got a new client in Kansas. It's a Presbyterian church in Dodge City. I love their motto. It says, for the past 100 years, we've been getting the hell out of Dodge. I took the family to my sister's and we went to one of those great big aquariums. 20-foot glass walls. You can see the fish through them. And at the end of our tour, a marine biologist was giving us a lecture and explained that that story about Jonah and the whale never could have happened. It's all myth. My daughter was very upset. She shot up her hand and said, well, we studied that in Sunday school. I don't think it should be dismissed like that. I think there's a lot of truth in that. But matter of fact, when I die and go to heaven, I'm going to ask Jonah about that. The marine biologist said, well, what if Jonah's a liar and didn't make it to heaven? Well, my daughter was stumped. She said, well, if Jonah didn't go to heaven, I guess when you die, you could ask him. Now, the best news is my brief brush with cancer has concluded. The way I found it is my daughter was doing a cartwheel in the living room. I came walking in through the dining room and she kicked me 120 miles an hour in the gut. It hurt so bad I went to the doctor. He did a scan and said she didn't break anything, but we found a tumor. You have cancer. So it was a year. Surgery, radiation, rehab, all that stuff before he finally gave me the all clear. And he said, it's the first time I've ever seen the hand of God save a guy's life through a kick in the gut. About that year later, we were out in the backyard working on the swings, and I was drilling overhead. I got a sliver in my eye. To drop the drill, hold my eye open, lay down on the ground. I said to my daughter, you're going to have to get this out. Run up to my bathroom, second drawer, get 2 Q-tips, run like the wind. So she runs up, she runs back. I lay down on the ground. She kneels down, takes a deep breath, and says, time to man up. She goes in, pinches it, gets it out. We go into the house. I'm blotting my eye. My wife comes down. We tell her the whole story. She pats my daughter on the arm and says, that's remarkable. How do you feel about that? She says, well, that's twice now I've saved his life. Well, thank you, Jeannie. Bye-bye.